Good afternoon. Welcome to episode 10. We made it to 10 episodes of the new norm, and I couldn't be more happy sitting here in a nor'easter in New England to welcome my good friend, Peggy Delano. Peggy and I know each other from our time in launching the Keller Williams Greater Hartford organization, which last month or month before became a billion-dollar company. So I couldn't be more proud to welcome Peggy to the new norm and with her coaching business to talk a little bit about, what's happening, how she pivoted, what her new norm looked like in 2020, and what her goals and aspirations are for 2021. So Peggy, welcome. Peggy's in from California and he's here in Connecticut to run the snowstorm out with us. So again, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm so excited. And I have to tell you, Curt, I'm really excited to have a snowstorm. I said I was going to stay in Connecticut until we got a blizzard. So what do you think?
Does this mean you're leaving?
I don't know. Everybody thinks I'm crazy.
Yeah. So listen, you and I know each other, from growing, an amazing company. And I know that you kind of took off with that and moved around the country, different markets. And a big part of what you were doing was the coaching side of things. And we are rolling with coaching here at Sentry Commercial. We're rolling with coaching in our new company, Canopy Brokerage Company. And, I wanted you to share a little bit about, what coaching looked like in 2020 when, everything hit the fan. And, how were your clients acting and reacting? And, and what kinds of things did you deploy to help them through sort of, the myriad of emotional, it's like an emotional roller coaster, for many. So how did that look for you?
Okay. How long do we have? Because it was crazy. Let me tell you. As a
All
coach,
the time you need.
as a coach, we had a pivot. And then our clients, I think the biggest thing I was up against was limiting beliefs and what they were telling themselves about the pandemic, what they could do, what they couldn't do, how they would be out of business. And then some just said, oh my gosh, this is such an amazing opportunity. So I kind of had one extreme to the other. So we can talk about both.
Yeah. So it was, it was like a flight, fight, or freeze. And we certainly, in our company and companies that we are involved with from a community basis, we saw everything. And so when it came time for your people, because obviously, our markets, both from an industrial real estate perspective, which we obviously spent a lot of time with, started to go crazy when initially we thought it was going to be, absolutely a dead market. That market started to go crazy. And then, of course, the residential market. So, the pandemic obviously put people in a mindset that was very different from what we maybe thought, but everybody sort of fleeing cities to go to suburbs. We've got the hottest real estate market that we've had. And so how are you coaching to that? Is it just crazy or,
Well, okay. So let's just back up to exactly about a year ago, March, because I was out in California and I am licensed in California, and some of the agents that I was working with, and that was the crazy part, Curt, is that I was coaching agents in different states. So each state had its own set of rules. And in California, we went into a total lockdown. And at first, the agents were not considered essential workers. So my agents in California really didn't know what they were doing. Most of them were getting ready to launch their spring campaign. Door knocking, I've never seen door knocking work so well as where I am in Orange County. So that put the brakes on there. And I had a few agents who just didn't know what to do without being able to hold an open house. Think about that.
Yeah, interesting.
Their whole business was open houses and door knocking, and they were just completely shut down and a lot of resistance.
Sure. So obviously when it comes to talking about coaching, a lot of what we do as coaches is deal with mindset. So talk to me about mindset versus strategy. And what percentage do you see the balance? Because I feel like when you're working with clients, they're 90% focused on strategy and execution, and 10% on
Mhm.
mindset, when in reality they should be 90-10 the other way. What is your
It
experience with that?
You're absolutely right. It had to totally flip, especially in my area where the entry level for home starts at 850 to $1 million, and the agents are used to just walking into a property, and because the inventory was so low, they were just going to get a buyer, and they never thought that they would have to rethink something. So they went into a lot of limited beliefs and believing that other ways of doing business was not going to work for them. And that was really a lot. And what we really focused on was if they didn't change their mindset, what was it going to look like for them in 3 or 4 months down the line with their family? So it was a lot of almost a pain type of model that you were going to, like really having them look at, oh, am I going to be able to pay my mortgage or my car? Or what is really going to happen to me if I don't flip my mindset here and say, okay, it's going to be fine, and not buy into all the doom and gloom that was going on.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes a lot of sense. The one of the things that I've always been impressed with is, you're certified in the NLP, the neuro linguistic programming. Tell me about the brain, and tell me about your experience with getting certified in that. And tell me, how do these limiting beliefs, greet us every day? How can we spend less time in what my coach calls suffrage, which is,
Suffrage.
I can't do it. It's going to take too much time. I don't have the money.
Hmm.
I don't deserve this, etc. So, suffrage, limiting beliefs. How do you conquer that day in and day out in the coaching world with your clients?
So can I be completely honest with you?
No.
Thanks. I didn't think you were going to let me.
Lie
And,
to
and
me.
I think as a coach, you have to be totally transparent. And when this whole thing happened, I first had to conquer my limiting beliefs
Sure.
because I'm just like everybody else, and I'm trying to keep my mind going. And I went back to the basics. So 2 years ago, I took a practitioner course in NLP. And the fundamental thing is, well, it actually goes back to a class that you and I took years ago. And one of the sayings was, what you focus on expands. And no matter what hits you, you've got to get up every day and do the affirmations. It starts with you. You've got to figure out who you're surrounding yourself with. So, as a coach, I started to analyze the people that I was hanging out with, because I noticed how if I had a negative conversation with one of my friends who was thinking doom and gloom, I couldn't carry that over into my coaching. So it was a lot of life lessons for me, and then bringing it into coaching and having them really think about what the value was, what got them into real estate, what their big why was. And, take away the pandemic, take away all of that was going on at the time. Let's just go into their core values of why they first became an agent and what they wanted to do and how they wanted to help people. And when we reminded them of that, it was, ups and downs. And it was trial and error for a lot of them, but it all really started with what you were telling yourself and what you were focusing on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So as we roll forward, we're certainly not out of it, but there's been, a lot of positive uh, outlook for 2021. We've got a
Right.
vaccine. People we're getting lower
Yeah.
numbers, et cetera. And so what is your mantra for 2021? What is your game relative to attracting new coaching clients? And, where do you think we're going?
I love that. I think coaching has taken off. You and I shared some coaching classes together this year. We were blown away at the amount of people that were signing up to do it. And I feel now more than ever people are realizing that maybe I can't do this on my own. Maybe I do need a little bit of guidance. And, they're starting to look at their finances more. They're starting to analyze their companies they're with. And sometimes you just need an outside opinion. You can't rely on your family and friends. You need an unbiased person who is going to really deconstruct your entire business and find out, okay, where can we improve? What should we do? And honestly, Curt, I've had to talk to some agents then ask them, are you working your way into the business or are you working your way out of the business?
Absolutely.
So as a coach, I'm not just the type of coach that's going to say to you, okay, how many appointments did you make and what scripts did you use and all of that. The NLP is taking my coaching to a different level, a deeper level, where I'm really getting into your root cause, where we're going to talk about your big why. Because once you figure that out, then we can start to grow and go in different directions. So I'm looking for the person who just doesn't want a coach with fluff numbers and appointments. I'm looking for the client who really wants to learn about themselves and grow and work together in a partnership.
Absolutely. I couldn't have you said that any better than you just did.
Thank you.
So listen, this is meant to be quick, fun, to the point. The new norm has been a great series for us.
Mm-hmm.
And, we look forward to, and at times have guests back. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for being in Connecticut, and we will circle back with you. And if anybody's interested in Peggy, I will forward information and or email me, message me on LinkedIn or Facebook. And thank you, Peggy. It's
Curt,
been great.
I appreciate it.
Reconnect with you after a long
really
time.
Nice.
It's been great to celebrate the $1 billion mark at a company that you and I spent so much time, developing in the early days.
Amazing.
And so proud of you. And
Thank you.
Excited. And we'll talk soon.
Thanks, Curt, for having me. Appreciate it.
You bet. It's Curt Gemme, Sentry Commercial, episode 10, the big anniversary, 10 episodes. And you guys have a great day. All right, Peggy, thanks so much.
Thanks. Bye-bye.